Welcome back. We are going to Game 6 against the Indians. Let's do it. All right. So Renato Nunez is cold still. We got Kyle Wright pitching against German Marquez, who how did you do in your last game? Oh yeah, forgot. He went 7 strong, 3 earned runs, 1 home run allowed. Got 7 ground ball outs, 8 fly ball outs. Faced 28 batters, only threw 107 pitches. All right. So he's good, is what the game is trying to say. We're going to keep the classic lineup, even though it worked for us last time. The other one did. But hopefully that injected a good dose of, I don't know. Excuse me, I burped again. I'm a burpy boy. I'm sorry, I'm so gassy. But hopefully that a sense of urgency, injected a sense of urgency. That's the word I was looking for. Injected a sense of urgency into these guys because they've been playing like they don't want to win. So I like to imagine that we did this and or that that game happened and then somebody, Adley Rutschman, maybe gave a heart-to-heart in the locker room saying we got to come back and beat these guys. We're here at Camden Yards though, where we we dropped the first 2 games of the series in Camden Yards, then 1-2 on the road in Cleveland. But now we're at the point where we got to win. We got to win or go home, and we're awful close to going home. Won't be a long trip, but it'll be German Marquez versus Kyle Wright, and you're gonna see it here. Okay, let's start the game. Kevin Kiermaier, who's got a 184 batting average and a 214 OBP for a 530 OPS, still leading off for him, which of course means I bet he probably is going to go deep. Yeah, he's got a 312 batting average on the first pitch, 5 homers. And as predicted, he hits a leadoff triple. And there's a fly ball to right field. Hayes is going to make the catch, throw to the cutoff man, and Kiermaier cannot score. But all Jose Ramirez needs to do is just hit one a little bit deeper than that. And he draws a walk. Then Franmil Reyes drives in Kiermaier with a single. Calhoun strikes out. And then Bogarts doubles, 3-0 Indians. Nolan Jones singles, 4-0 Indians. And then Torrens grounds out. So a picture-perfect start for us. We are already down 4-0. Xavier Edwards will... Oh, he also rockets one into the gap. He's also going to lead off the game with a triple. And, Edwards is going to score on a wild pitch. Drew Waters still up. And he's going to rocket one over the right field wall. And it's 4-2. So this might be a slugfest. Oh, my God. And then Adley Rutschman hits one 450 feet back to back. It's 4-3. They still have not recorded an out yet. And a base hit up the middle. German Marquez still without the benefit of an out. And Austin Hayes with an infield hit up to Ryan Mountcastle. Let's see what happens to him. And he's going to hit one that's going to get over the left fielder's head, and 1 run is going to score. Hayes is held at third, and the game is tied. Oh, my God. This is not looking good for German Marquez. No outs. Daz Cameron up. And Cameron grounds it to third or to short. Go-ahead run comes in. Renato Nunez still has the opportunity to drive someone in, but he doesn't. Now Nick Allen up, and he is going to fly out to left field. Okay, so just as soon as Kyle Wright gave up a 4-run first inning, we come back and we score 5. We need him to settle down. Fly out. Walk to Kiermaier. Kiermaier to second. Jose Ramirez walks. Franmil Reyes strikes out. Okay, good. Xavier Edwards is up again. Fly out. Waters strikes out. Rutschman. Ground out. Okay. Ground out. And rain beginning to fall. That's not good. Pitch to Bogarts. Bogarts singles. And Nolan Jones is going to strike out. Sweet. 2 away. Luis Torrens flies out to center field. Heston Kierstad's turn. Rain delay. Oh my God. There's a 65-minute rain delay, which means that they're going to have to, they bring in Reyes Maranta. Or I guess Reyes Maranta was already pitching. We might want to start warming somebody up. We need a long reliever, I think. Tucker Davidson, I suppose. Probably also a righty. Michael King. Utilizing these two guys for any sort of, for a long period of time is pretty much going to mean they can't pitch in Game 7 if we force it. But I'm cool with that because we got a whole bullpen full of dudes behind him. Reyes Maranta allows a base hit for Kierstad. Austin Hayes grounds into a double play, and then Mountcastle singles. Daz Cameron will strike out. All right, Kyle Wright, only 65 pitches, so this isn't showing that he's got... okay, well, he walks another dude. 4 walks. Kiermaier flies out. Flores walks. Jose Ramirez is just... I've had enough. All right, Michael King's going to come in to face Ramirez. And he's going to ground it to first, the throw to second, and the throw back to first. Double play ball. Felix Pena pitching to Nunez, and Nunez flies out. Nick Allen will reach on an error by Jose Ramirez. Then I'm going to have him steal. Yep. All right, he's in safely. Xavier Edwards is going to ground out to the right side of the field, and then Drew Waters is up. He walks, ball 4, Rushman's up. Ducks on the pond, but he strikes out. Okay. King pitches to Reyes. Ground out. Calhoun with a base hit. And Bogart strikes out. Nolan Jones up. Oh no. Nolan Jones homers. 6-5 Indians. That's not good. And then Terrens is out. Felix Pena allows a hit to Kierstad. Austin Hayes is up. He's going to fly out. Trevor Betancourt pitches to Mountcastle. Walks Mountcastle. Pitches to Daz Cameron. Cameron strikes out. Renato Nunez up. He's going to fly out to center field. All right. Michael King still pitching. We need to get, let's get Matson up. Arroyo with the base hit. Kiermaier walks. Let's put Matson in. I don't want this game to get away from us. Ground ball to second for 1, to first, 2 out. Jose Ramirez walks. Pitch to... oh my god. Okay. Oh no. Alright, sweet. And then we strike out Franmil Reyes. Trevor Betancourt is pitching for them still. Nick Allen reaches on an error. Trevor... okay. Edwards grounds out, fielder's choice. Or, well, rolls into a fielder's choice. Drew Waters is still up, hitting against Will Smith. Walks him. Rushman's up against Will Smith still. And, oh my god, Adley Rushman into deep left field, and that's going to get out of here. We took the lead. 8-6. Oh my gosh. Rushman with the second home run of the game. Puts us on top 8-6. Hell yeah. Sweet. I like that. Smith still got to pitch to Kierstad. Kierstad reaches on an infield single. Austin Hayes is up. And Hayes gets hit. Now Ryan Mountcastle gets the hit against the lefty. And it looks like he's going to ground into a double play. He does. All right. Matson pitching to Willie Calhoun. Base it up the middle. And Xander Bogaerts flies out. We also need to start warming somebody else up because Matson doesn't have fantastic stamina. I'm thinking Tucker Davidson and Luke Jackson. Ooh, and we strike out. Nolan Jones pitching to Luis Terrens. And we hit Terrens. That's not good. But we strike out. Who's that? Christian Arroyo. Good. That's the 7th inning. We need to get 6 more outs. Will Smith to Daz Cameron. Cameron grounds out. Renato Nunez punches out. And Nick Allen also strikes out. All right, Matson's thrown 32. Let's bring in Davidson to pitch to Kiermaier. He'll pitch to Kiermaier, Flores, Ramirez. Let's sit down Jackson for now. Ground out. And then Flores flies out. And Jose Ramirez will strike out. Hell yeah. All right. Edwards walks. I feel pretty confident in sending him. and he's safe. Waters will walk. 2 on for Adley Rutschman. And he's going to hit one to right. Reyes is going to make the catch. Edwards comes back. He doesn't try to push his luck. Here comes Heston Kjerstad. Oh my God. And Heston Kjerstad just might have put this game on ice with the home run to center field. 6-11 Orioles. Okay. Now it's Austin Hayes' turn. And Hayes is going to single up the middle. Now Ryan Mountcastle is going to hit one to Kiermaier, who catches it. And Daz Cameron will line out? No, single. And now Renato Nunez's turn to fly out to left field. All right, Tucker Davidson, I'm going to let the pitch to Reyes. Fly ball to Cameron. Puts it away. Davidson to Calhoun. Calhoun to the left field. And Kjerstad turns his back but makes the play in front of the warning track. Now Tucker Davidson's got one more out to get. Oh my gosh. And Bogarts hits it to center field. Waters comes in, makes the play. Sorry, that wasn't Waters. That was Daz Cameron, our center fielder, comes in, makes the play, and we've tied this series up. It's 3-3. We're going to a game 7, baby. Despite a a not fantastic pitching performance out of either starter. Oh, right out the gate, it was bad. But we did it. It's hammered by Kjerstad. Adley Rutschman had a clutch at bat, I'll say. Kjerstad went 4 for 5 with a homer and 3 singles. Scored 2 runs, drove in 3. Yeah, Rutschman has 6 home runs and 6 RBI in the postseason. He's turned into he's such a beast. Kjerstad hit a homer, drove in 3. He's raised his average to 293. Austin Hayes is still kind of dismal at 158, but showing signs of turning things around. He had 2 hits in that last game. Ryan Mountcastle also had a pair of hits. Renato Nunez was 0 for 5. Nick Allen was 0 for 4. Those guys are still black holes at the bottom of the lineup. Daz Cameron also was only 1 for 5. But Drew Waters walked 3 times. That's pretty good. Also got a base hit. Scored 3 runs, as did Xavier Edwards. Xavier Edwards scored. Okay, Xavier Edwards was 1 for 4. Scored 3 runs because I think he reached on a walk once, but he also reached on an error, I believe. So, top 6 guys in our lineup really did some work, did the heavy lifting there. And we left 21 on base, as did the Indians. But we only struck out 7 times. Indians struck out 8 times. We took 5 walks. They took 7. So player of the game was Kjerstad. But, yeah, Kyle Wright went 3 1/3, allowed 4, walked 5. Michael King went an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 earned over on a home run. Isaac Mattson got the win after pitching 2 strong innings, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, only 1 walk, and then Tucker Davidson got the save through 2 innings of 2 innings of shutout ball, struck out 1, no runs, no hits, or no walks or no hits. Cool. So those guys really, they did their part. So tomorrow is going to be an Edward Diaz kind of night, I think. Sweet. Comeback. First time. 4-run comeback versus the Indians and hit machine. Kjerstad was 4 for 5 with 3 RBI and a homer. 2 runs scored. Okay. Tomorrow's cookie, Carlos Carrasco. And DL Hall. Wouldn't you know it? DL Hall is eligible. DL Hall is eligible to come off Oh no, shit. We can't replace Daniel Norris with DL Hall. That would have been perfect. Have DL Hall come in to start game 7 as opposed to, who are we going to have to trot out there? Is it going to be Michael Baumann? I think it's Michael Baumann. No, it's Jose Barrios. We have the opportunity to start Jose Barrios, even though he pitched how many days ago? Oh, he did only pitch 5 days ago. Fantastic. Okay, so he's coming off of a win. He's coming off of a 6 2/3, 1 earned run. Okay, sweet. All right, well, Jose Barrios might be able to save this game, might be able to save the season. If we don't wind up winning this game, it'll still be a hell of a run for us, winning 95 games. But, you know, This is what I consider a pretty deep playoff run. Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. All games except for maybe this last one were tightly contested, and that one against the Yankees that we just bombed. But hopefully Jose Barrios can send us to the World Series. We'll see. Let's play this game. Sweet. All right. Well, here it is. Let's go for it, baby. All right. Pitching to Kiermaier, and he will line one to Nunez. Then Wilmer Flores will strike out. Jose Ramirez will double. Uh-oh. And then Franmil Reyes hits one off my screen to center field. Daz Cameron settles under it for the out. Xavier Edwards against Cookie Carrasco. And Cookie strikes out Xavier. Drew Waters will drive one to center field, but Kiermaier's there for the out. Now Adley Rutschman is up. He rockets one to Franmil Reyes, who puts it away. Jose Barrios to Willie Calhoun, who hits one up the middle to Nick Allen again. We got a pretty good position defense. Barrios to Bogarts. Strikes him out. To Nolan Jones. And Nolan Jones also strikes out. Cookie Carrasco now to Heston Kjerstad, who will, oh my God, absolute tater to right center field. Oh my goodness, 453 feet. And Heston Kjerstad's bat is alive, ladies and gentlemen. His second home run in as many nights. 4 hits last night. And goes yard in his first at-bat tonight. That brings up Austin Hayes, who is not doing so hot. He will fly out again. Ryan Mountcastle will ground out to second base, bringing up Daz Cameron, who will ground out to third. All right, Barrios to Torrens. And that looks like a lazy fly ball to the first baseman. And Barrios strikes out Christian Arroyo. Now he faces Kiermaier, and he strikes out Kiermaier on a pitch on the outside corner. Carlos Carrasco to Reynaldo Nunez, who I don't think has a home run this postseason. No, he's also only hitting 135. And he's going to rocket one to the gap, but Kiermaier's there. Pitch to Allen, who grounds out to third base, bringing up Xavier Edwards again, who will hit a lazy fly that the second baseman is able to make the catch on. Jose Barrios to Wilmer Flores. Barrios issues his first walk to Flores, pitching to Ramirez, who will strike out on a pitch looking. He pitches to Reyes, who hits one to left field. Kjerstad comes in on it, makes the play, puts that one away. Barrios to Willie Calhoun, who rockets one into the right field corner. But the ball comes in pretty quick, and they can't score. But they got 2 men on, 2 away. Barrios to Bogarts, and Bogarts hits one in the air, and Xavier Edwards makes the catch. All right, still 1-0 Baltimore. Carrasco to Drew Waters, and Waters hits one up the middle for a base hit. Carrasco to Rutschman. Rutschman strikes out. Carrasco to Kjerstad. And Kjerstad hits another rocket, this time to center field, and Kiermaier makes the play. Carrasco to Hayes, and oh my goodness, Austin Hayes deep into the left field night and into the stands for a 2-run bomb. Baltimore up 3-0 now. Austin Hayes, that's a hell of a time for his bat to get hot. Hits his 3rd home run of the postseason. And that'll be Mountcastle up the middle for a base hit. 2 away, 1 on. Carrasco to Daz Cameron, and Daz Cameron will hit a little pop-up behind the first base bag. Their first baseman puts it away. All right. Jose Barrios has 63 pitches over 4. He's going to face Nolan Jones. And Nolan Jones hits a tater. 3-1. Barrios to Torrens. Strikes out Torrens. Pitches to Christian Arroyo, lazy fly ball center field, and Cameron puts it up. Barrios to Kiermaier, and Kiermaier with the base hit, and back-to-back base hits. And then Jose Ramirez hits one to right field, which is caught by Hayes. All right, so Barrios 5 innings, 1 run. They're actually out hitting us 5-4, but 2 of ours have cleared the wall. Carrasco to Renato Nunez. And Renato Nunez flies out to center field. Nick Allen will single right on the line. That looked like a dropped foul, but that's just the game being funky. Carrasco to Edwards. And Edwards hits a little podunk roller to second, and no one's going to get him. 2 on. 2 on and 1 out for Drew Waters. And he's going to hit one to Reyes. Reyes comes in on it. He's going to make the catch. Too shallow for anybody to advance. That brings up Rutschman with 2 on, 2 away. And he strikes out. Okay. Barrios has 84 pitches. Franmil Reyes, Willie Calhoun, Xander Bogaerts. And Xander Bogaerts is red hot. I feel like we should start warming people up. Can't bring in King. He's totally gassed. Duck Davidson wouldn't be a good idea. Michael Givens, we could start warming up, as well as Luke Jackson. If we really need to, we got Daniel Norris. If we need a lefty, let's do I think Luke Jackson. Franmil Reyes is going to have himself an infield hit. Willie Calhoun is going to have himself a base hit. 2 on, nobody away. Barrios strikes out Bogaerts. Nolan Jones has already hit a home run tonight. And Jones hits one down the line in left field. It's going to rattle around, and 2 guys are going to score. Barrios has 99 pitches. He's going to face Torrens. Strikes out Torrens. And it looks like, okay, well, the game is tied, but we've got our opportunity to answer back. Carrasco to Kjerstad. He's going to fly out to left. Austin Hayes. Singles to right. Mountcastle is going to strike out. And Daz Cameron will walk. Bringing up Renato Nunez, who has not had a big moment in this postseason, only hitting 128. Right now would be a fantastic time for him to bust out of that. But he's going to ground out to third base. All right, so let's put in Luke Jackson. Because Barrios is just totally gassed. Tied ball game, 6th inning, top of the 7th now. Luke Jackson to Kiermaier. And Kiermaier singles. Let's hold the runner. All right, that's fine. Double play. I like that. We pitch to Ramirez. And he's going to ground out to second base as well. Good job. Jackson comes in and 1, 2, 3 inning. Kind of, sort of. All right, Cookie Carrasco, I can't help but notice, is still out there. Only 1 walk, 98 pitches. We need to make him pay. But Nick Allen can't do anything about it. All right, 1 away. Nick Sandlin comes in. And here comes Xavier Edwards, and he's going to hit one to the gap. There it goes. It lands. He's going to have himself at least a double. Okay. Go ahead, run on second base. 1 away. Here comes Drew Waters. And Waters grounds out to second base. Here comes Adley Rutschman. I believe they would have to be absolutely ridiculous. They would have to be beyond stupid to pitch to Rutschman. I'm going to take a pitch. It's low, ball 1. I'm going to take another pitch. That's a change up first strike. Now I'm just going to let Rutschman swing away. And he's going to rip it down the right field line, rattle up into the corner. Edwards scores easily, and Rutschman is going to slide into second base with an RBI double. And just like that, we've got the lead, 4-3. All right. At this point, excuse me, we're warming up Jeremy Walker, and we're warming up Edwin Diaz. Heston Kjerstad. Let's put this on ice, dude. He's going to fly one to center field. Looks like Kiermaier is going to be able to make the play. And he does. Okay. Luke Jackson to Franmil Reyes. Swing and a miss. Luke Jackson to Willie Calhoun. And Calhoun walks. We're putting in Diaz. I don't care. Diaz is going to have to get 5 outs. No, 4 outs. Strikes out Bogaerts. No, yeah, 5 outs. To Jones. Jones rolls out to the third baseman who's playing short. All right, sweet. Good deal. All right, we're going to go into the bottom of the 8th. I really want an insurance run. At least one. Here comes Hayes, he's going to hit one over the second or into right field. Hayes. Mountcastle's up. Strikes out. Daz Cameron, we're leaving in because his defense is good. And he's going to hit a roller to third. Or to short. That's a double play. Edwin Diaz. Luis Torrens. Torrens strikes out. Edwin Rios flies it to left field, and we're 1 out away. Let's do this one pitch by pitch. We're going to pitch. Let's see this. Foul ball. Ground ball, second base. Edwards picks it up, throws to first, and the Baltimore Orioles win. We come back from 3 games, down 3-1, to win the championship series, the American League Championship Series over the Indians, and we're going to the World Series. Oh my God. Wow. All right. Orioles prevail as League Championship Series goes down to the wire. I'll frickin' say, man. The Orioles and Indians held nothing back in an entertaining League Championship Series that went the distance. In the end, it will be Baltimore advancing to the World Series after a 4-3 triumph in the final game at Oriole Park at Camden Yards to wrap up the series 4-3. The Orioles players celebrated jubilantly in their clubhouse after the game, while the scene was one of dismay on the imposing side for the Indians. We wrapped this up at home, by the way, so that's great. All right. The Baltimore Orioles will play against the St. Louis Cardinals in the next round. St. Louis won their series against the San Diego Padres 4-1, and it's scheduled to begin on the 24th of October. Okay, so we got one rest day, and then we got to play the Cardinals. So we actually didn't even take a look to see how the National League Championship Series went, but it looks like the Cardinals did pretty well, cleaned up pretty well against the Padres, 4-1. All right, so Rutschman was named Series MVP. 367, didn't walk at all? Are you serious? He didn't take a single walk, but he hit 4 home runs, drove in 10, scored 6 times. That's good for MVP honors. Barrios gave us 6 strong. 8 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 earned, 1 homer. Luke Jackson with the win. 1.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 K, 1 walk, and then Edwin Diaz came in and slammed the door, an inning and 2/3. 18 pitches, 2 Ks. That's what we needed. Oh, what a series. Yep, that's good. This game really makes for memorable series. I do like this is why I like playing all of the postseason games. If we had there was a lot of drama. We've played 13 games at this point. We had a 5-game series against the Yankees in the division series, and most of those were close games. And then this one, another close one. This one we only won 4-3, and oh my God, we're going to the World Series, dude. That's ridiculous. It's 2023 finals, baby. Yeah, I know. 2023. So let's just go back. Let's just bring it back real quick and start appreciating exactly the path that led us here. So we took over in 2020, and when we took over in 2020, our outlook was terrible. I mean, you're talking, it was bad. We didn't have any fantastic prospects. Our number 1 prospect was Adley Rutschman, he's a stud right now. He is doing the Lord's work, 1,300 OPS in the postseason, doing what you need your captain to do, driving in runs and scoring and stuff. The Division Series MVP, the championships, the ALCS, the Championship Series MVP. And you know what? Don't bet against him in the World Series. But this guy was our only big 5-star prospect. It was him and I think Grayson Rodriguez. And we traded away Grayson Rodriguez for some organizational pieces. Can't remember off the top of my head who. But we've gone from a pretty dismal team to a 95-game winner, and we're in the World Series. So we've really turned it around, and it's really cool. It's really cool that this is we're able to do it so quickly. I feel like the turnaround was a lot quicker. I anticipated being maybe in the playoffs, sneaking into something like a second wild card team, second wild card spot by 2024-ish. I wasn't necessarily thinking 2023, but I can tell you, winning 95 games to take the AL East title and then making a deep playoff run was not something that I was totally not something I expected. But that's enough patting ourselves on the back. We still got another huge series to win. After that display of manliness. All right, so Tyler Mahle needs. Oh gosh, he can't pitch. Kyle Wright's still exhausted. I don't know why Kyle Wright's still exhausted, even though. Oh, I guess he did pitch yesterday, didn't he? Cool. So what we can do today, finish today. DL Hall can come off the IL. I like that. What we can do is take Daniel Norris off the playoff roster. Oh, I can't put him on. Why was I trying to put him on? Let's do that. Let's take Daniel Norris off of the playoff roster and put DL Hall on it. Please. Can you not? I can't put you on the playoff roster. Place on playoff roster. Could not do it. Roster is full, or this player is ineligible for the playoff roster, or as an injury replacement. I can't activate you. Oh, that stinks. Why can I not put you on the playoff roster? That's dumb. I should be able to do that. You pitched 154 innings and you were on our roster before you got injured. I should be able to put you on. All right, well, here we go. I'm gonna have to do something that generally speaking I don't like doing, but the reason that I leave it on is because of this. So DL Hall can't be put on our active roster for some administrative bullshit, but because we're playing in commissioner mode, we have the opportunity to come into this editor thing. And because I don't want to get into the World Series just yet, I kind of want to let this moment breathe and let us all appreciate the marvel of us winning. I'm going to show you something. So if you've played OOTP before, you have almost certainly messed with this to create some sort of super player. But we're going to come to editor. This tab you can select on every player. And you're going to see a lot of numbers, a lot of letters, a lot of stuff, a lot of information. And it's going to be kind of difficult for you to parse at first. But this editor tab is kind of your God mode. And I'll show you why in a minute. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to make DL Hall eligible for our eligible for playoff roster. It says he is eligible for playoff roster. Why can I not add you? So I shouldn't even have to be cheesy. Playoff roster. Players eligible for playoff roster. Can we just not? Oh, we can't. Roster's full. This player isn't eligible. But he is, though. He's eligible. Do we need to go to game options, game settings? AI settings. No. Almanac, online league. League settings. Clear rosters, no. Okay, let's go back to DL Hall real quick. Go back to editor. Okay, interesting. So I can't put him on the roster because for some reason, select team. I can't do anything with him. All right, so normally what would happen is this eligible for playoff roster thing would be unticked. And then I'd want to come in and tick him. So he's eligible, but for some reason I cannot add him I can't add him. If I go to rosters and transactions, players eligible for playoff roster, here he is right here. If I tried to add Dean Kremer, I wouldn't be able to do it either. Today is a no game day. Why can I not add him? I don't want to have to put somebody else on the roster. I could put Cueto. I don't want to do that though. And I don't want to put Norris back on, but I might have to. I did. All right, so I think I'm going to have to. Anyway, I guess I opened Pandora's box, so I might as well explain it, huh? So this screen, which again, if you have challenge mode enabled or if you're not playing in commissioner mode, will not be available to you. I think editor is available, but the only thing that you can do is like look at like names, and you can't edit much of this stuff, I don't think. So over here, this is your ratings editor. This is where you can go in and manually do some inputs and turn your guy into a god. So pitching ratings. So we're not even going to bother with offensive stuff because DL Hall is a pitcher, or I'm not going to bother explaining it right now. So let's just show you. So we can see his stamina rating is 136, and the range in this game is 1 through 250, which allows for a lot of customization. If that sounds like a lot, you know, just think that like every increment here is like 2.5%, or well, it's just a lot more detailed. You can get a lot more detailed and precise than on a 100 scale. You can, increase that by 150% and get super detailed numbers, I guess. And that allows for some variations from player to player that would just make for a much more interesting game, I think, than if we were doing ratings between 1 and 100. Anyway, so here you can come in here, and if you wanted to, I'm going to memorize this. His stamina is 176 or 136. So I could come in here and I could give him God stamina 250. He would be a literal workhorse if he did that, but we're not going to do that because I don't want to be cheesy. You can increase his holding runner stat. His velocity actually is this little tool. You can come in here and manually set this stuff. He was 96 to 98. You could change their arm slots, which it actually does have an effect in this game. If like submariners are more effective against same side hitters, and so it will affect your splits. And then we've got this. So we've got our current and our potential ratings. So here we go. So DL Hall has 3 pitches: a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. And we've got his potential ratings here. So these are how good he could potentially become. Current is what his actual stat right now when he pitches is. You can increase his potential rating all the way up to 250 for a Pedro Martinez changeup, or Roger Clemens splitter, Randy Johnson slider sort of thing. You could do that if you were so inclined. You can do that with current and potential. So if I turn this potential thing, if I didn't bother with the current and I put this potential up to 250 hypothetically, then that would mean that he could potentially grow into a 250. That pitch could potentially develop into a 250 point pitch, which would be an 80 out of 80. That doesn't immediately give him that incredible fastball or incredible curveball or incredible changeup right off, lickety split. It doesn't just overnight turn him into a god. If you wanted to do that, you'd come over here to current. But if you put your current to 250, but you let that potential down to 160, then he's going to like regress back to that 160 most likely. So these are not static; these are constantly changing. So when you see like your development reports showing that his stuff rating has gone down from 55 to 50, that's this stuff. That's this current rating or this potential rating decreasing. These are those numbers. This is the numbers that are showing you that you're seeing on those ratings. So you see that even on that 80 grade scale, there's still a lot more precise numerals and numbers that are being crunched behind the scenes for your viewing pleasure. Okay, then you got some other stuff. You got your movement and your control, and it's on a pitch by pitch kind of thing, or it's not pitch by pitch. I'm sorry. This is by splits. So you can see this game does your control based on what handedness of the batter you're playing, you're pitching against. So you can see that his control against righties is better than his control against lefties. Right? No, I'm sorry. The inverse. His movement against lefties is worse than his movement against righties. And then again, your potential is over here. So right now, his current rating is a little bit higher than his potential rating, which could mean the next time the game tries to recalculate his potential settings and his current settings, the dice will roll, and maybe this increases or decreases. But most likely right now, it looks like it's going to decrease. Hit batsman. This is based on 550 batters faced. So this is just this is kind of showing you, again, behind the curtain at what the dice is rolling and what it's saying the chance of him hitting batsmen are. So the average number of batsmen that he's going to hit over 550 batters faced is 700. Same with wild pitches. So this guy's got pretty good control if he's only going to throw 2 wild pitches over 550 batters. 1 balk. And here we go. Resulting stats in a neutral modern major league environment. So if this guy was pitching in a cookie cutter ballpark, a cookie cutter like National League ballpark where the ball wasn't inflated and guys average OPS was like 725 or something. These are the stats the game thinks he'd pitch. An opponent average of 238, an ERA of 319, a FIP of 371, and a WAR of 4.2. So again, in a neutral modern major league environment, this dude would be a pretty valuable pitcher. Pretty much 4.2 is kind of all-star level. Not a ton of home runs allowed, especially given the amount of innings pitched. That'd be like less than a home run per 9, I think. And then about 1 strikeout per 9 inning. Walks should still be a little bit of an issue, but yeah, you can see that those ratings are pretty good. And you can come in here and manually punch these things out. If you want this dude to become your Pedro Martinez, you come in here to this strikeouts and you can hit 500 or 600 or whatever you think. Wouldn't be ridiculous, but just remember it wouldn't make sense for him to face more than so many batters over innings pitched. So you can come in here and you can turn this dude into God, or Pedro Martinez, or who else? I don't know. There's a good pitcher: Garrett Cole, Syndergaard, DeGrom. If that's your bag, if you want to come in here and do it, if you want to come into this tab and do it. And you can do this with any pitcher you want. You could turn this dude into a closer. You could turn this dude into a two-way player. You can do whatever you want. And that's kind of the cool thing about this game is almost everyone that I've seen online play this game at some point or another will come into editor and mess around and create some sort of super team. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. It's kind of fun. It's fun to watch that. Turn that God mode on and see what happens. And similarly, your offensive ratings. So you can increase your BABIP, your avoid Ks, your contact, your power, all this stuff again versus lefties versus righties, your potential, your overall potential. And you can come down here to the resulting stats again in a neutral modern major league environment, and you can edit all this stuff. So 550 at bats, you could edit that to where he's getting 400 hits and hitting 100 doubles and 50 home runs. If you want. We're not going to do any of that because that's kind of cheating, and I want to avoid that. But just keep in mind that if you have challenge mode enabled, you're not going to be able to do any of that. That's kind of a mouthful. That was a lot. I went a little bit deeper into that than I really wanted to. But today, no game. Tomorrow, St. Louis. Let's see if maybe tomorrow we would be able to activate Hall. What happens if I take you off? Remove, add. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. Nope. All right, we're going to have to go back and add Norris again. Gosh, that stinks. I'd really like to go with DL Hall. But that's all right. No problem. No biggie da, as they say. Cool. I don't want to start this tonight because I'm just... wow. Yeah, just kind of want to let that other moment breathe. So I think tomorrow we'll tackle Jack Flaherty and the Cardinals. What we can do, though, is we can go take a look at them. Let's go see what kind of ball club we're playing against. St. Louis Cardinals. All right, team home screen. So their most valuable batter was Dylan Carlson, who had a really good year. It looks like 12 triples. Played left field. 904 OPS. Takes a lot of walks. He's got some power. He's also got some speed. 37 steals against 6 caught. That's good. Smart base runners. That's what it tells us. Then we got Harrison Bader, who is an 80 center fielder. That is ridiculous. But despite that, he is still able to... his batting stats are kind of poor, as evidenced by his OPS being below 100. To be really honest, I mean, I don't know. These aren't terrible numbers. This is kind of what you want out of a. This dude's. I thought he was faster than this. His speed is only 50. His stealing is 60. I swear I thought this dude was faster. Maybe he was in the past, but anyway, because that's how your range is. Your range and your speed are kind of tied, but whatever. Range has there's a couple of different things that are going into your range. It's like not just your speed. It's also like your your routes that you take to the ball, your defensive efficiency. But we can see that this dude puts up pretty okay uh, offensive numbers. Certainly good enough to trot out for 160 games a season. And then when you couple it with that 80 defense, which is generationally good defense, this dude is really worth it. At least for a team like the Cardinals. Probably be leading off for them. All right, so that's Harrison Bader, Dylan Carlson, Tommy Edman. This dude's like a utility player extraordinaire. Second, third, short, left field, center field, right field. Probably plays defense, no problem. Or plays first base, no problem, I would imagine. Okay offensive numbers. Not great. He's fast. He stole 40 bags. Only caught 10 times. He was the division series champion for them. Oh, no, it looks like Bader hits 7th for them. All right, so the leadoff hitter is going to be Nick Matone, or Matten. I don't know how you pronounce that. Chatham, Illinois, so I don't know. Nick Matone, who was just, looks like a bit of a journeyman, to be honest. He's been in the league for a minute. Oh, this is, I want to see basic batting stats, please. Thanks. Okay. His biggest sample size was Philadelphia last year. Well, no, that's not true. His biggest sample size was this year. Who put up .4 WAR, 218 average. Not great. 67 OPS plus is not good. But he plays okay third base. Not much of a power hitter. I don't know. Kind of a weird player. Kind of a wild card. Then Dylan Carlson hitting third. They'll have Paul Goldschmidt cleaning up. He's 36 years old. He's got another year after this. He's put together a couple of okay campaigns for the Cardinals. Really consistent, it looks like. That OPS though is not great. 749. Park adjusted, that's a 101 OPS plus. So not terrible, but not like, I don't know. Generally speaking, for baseball players, and we can take another minute real quick. So if you've watched all 11 episodes or whatever we're at this point, and you're wondering about baseball, or you don't know about some of the baseball basics, then I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for watching. Now I'm going to do something that I probably should have done at the beginning. So OOTP is not the kind of game that people just kind of jump into not liking baseball. I would not expect someone who is not a huge baseball fan to just be like, take an inkling and just be like, I think I'd like to play OOTP baseball. Not really that kind of game. So with that being said, I know there's somebody watching this who's not totally into baseball. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and explain some things to you, Joe. Hi from the past, by the way. So I'm going to use analogies for European football as much as I can to try and make sense, speak your language. And I'm not trying to be patronizing or anything, but if there's somebody out there who's kind of not super into baseball and would like to learn a little bit more about it or wants to get into baseball, then this is an opportunity for you to learn something. So baseball is a game. I'm just realizing how ridiculous this is that I'm explaining this 11 games or 11 episodes into the game about baseball. But here we go. So baseball is a game made up of two teams of 9 players. And sure pretty much everyone knows that, but you've got your positions, right? You've got your pitcher, your catcher, first base, second base, shortstop, third base, and then your outfielders, your left fielder, center fielder, and right fielder. Um, in modern day baseball, the idea is that you've kind of got a balance. So players uh, in modern day baseball in the National League uh, need to be able, or in both leagues, need to be able to play a defensive position and also hit. You play offense and defense. In modern day American League, you have what's called the designated hitter, who is a player whose entire existence depends upon him hitting for the pitcher. So in the National League, which is what the St. Louis Cardinals, they play in the National League. They're going to have one of their pitchers, whoever their starting pitcher is going to hit. In the American League, you have the DH. The pitchers don't hit in the American League unless they are playing an away game where the host is a National League team. If their American League team is playing in a National League park, chances are they're going to be not using the DH. And vice versa. If a National League team goes to an American League park, the National League team will utilize a DH, and their pitcher will not hit. What this means is generally, not always, but generally, National League teams will have lower overall offensive numbers because 1/9 of their at-bats are going to be taken up by guys who do not do a whole lot of hitting. There are exceptions to the rule, but again, generally speaking, major league pitchers are not great hitters. People will point to pitchers like Madison Bumgarner and say, oh, no, that guy can hit because he hits a couple of home runs. But let's just look at Madison Bumgarner's offensive stats, because while Madison Bumgarner is more than capable of hitting a ball out of the ballpark, Madison Bumgarner is still a worse than average major league hitter. So here we go. Over his career, let's make sure we're doing this in major leagues. He is still a negative 4.3 hitter, and his OPS plus is 49. His slugging percentage is 536. He has 23 career home runs, which is, for a modern day pitcher, is kind of ridiculous. And you'll even look here. He's got a couple of seasons where he's actually worth positive WAR in the batter's box. I say a couple of seasons. He's got one. One that I would be willing to use as a legit sample size. Maybe two. So 2014, 2015, he hits 9 home runs, drives in like 24 runs, and hits like 252, 253. His OPS plus is higher than league average. But after that, never again. Never again does he come close. He comes a little close here in 2017. But you'll see this guy does not have a ton of plate appearances. He hits 23 home runs, which is impressive for a pitcher. For a pitcher, Madison Bumgarner is a good hitter. But he is still worse than every other major league position player at hitting. There are maybe one or two guys you could point at and say that I'd rather have Madison Bumgarner hitting than this guy. But by and large, again, I'm speaking in vast generalizations, Madison Bumgarner is a worse hitter than a very bad baseball player, position player. Remember Chris Davis, who was on our team at the very beginning of this of the series, who we quickly got rid of. If Madison Bumgarner and Chris Davis went 1-1, Chris Davis would out-hit Madison Bumgarner. And if you disagree with that, then I'm sorry. I don't like saying you don't know anything about baseball, but Madison Bumgarner versus Chris Davis. Chris Davis would be the better offensive player. There, I said it. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Your batters are kind of broken down into, so you've got to play a defensive position, right? So there's only so many defensive positions. There's 8 outside of being a pitcher. You've got your catcher, your first base, second base, shortstop, third base, left field, center field, right field. Some of these positions are what we call bat first positions. And what that means is you're prioritizing a guy who could hit over a guy who can play fantastic defense. And the number one position where that I think is true is something like first base. First base is a position where you don't have to be a super athletic individual to play a good first base or a solid first base. So we look at Paul Goldschmidt. Back in the past, okay, well, first up here we can see that Paul Goldschmidt has 4 Gold Gloves, which is baseball's award for being a good fielder. And they've done a much better job in the past decade of awarding these to guys who are legitimately good fielders. We can see that his rating is 60, which is still very good. It's way better than average, even though he's 36. He's 6'3", 220, which is a big boy. But he is athletic enough to get around, and we see that his range isn't great, but he doesn't make a ton of errors. His range doesn't have to be good because he's a first baseman. He's not expected to cover a ton of ground. His arm is his turn double plays is poor, and his range stinks, but he's not going to make a ton of errors. That pretty much means that the ball is hit at Paul Goldschmidt, and he doesn't have to move too far to his left or his right. He's going to get the glove on the ball, and he's going to make the play. He's a solid first baseman. Okay. The thing is, the bar for being a good first baseman is lower than for almost every other position on the diamond. First base is where, if you ever played Little League and you had a big boy or big girl who, was big, chances are they probably played first base because they didn't have a great range. This is a position where you want somebody who can hit, because you can stick a big person who's got good hand-eye coordination and has good hitting skills. And they don't have to be a really good first baseman. They don't have to be a good athlete to play first base. And when I say don't have to be a good athlete, please bear in mind that is relative to baseball players. Paul Goldschmidt certainly is a stronger man than I am, has better stamina than I do, and that same could be said, about pretty much everyone on a Major League diamond except for maybe CC Sabathia or Prince Fielder. And even that, I have no idea. I'm sure that those guys are much stronger than I am. Absolutely, for 100% much stronger than I am. Maybe I can beat them out in cardio, but I mean those guys are professional athletes. And to compare myself athletically to them is a very silly thing to do. So anyway, back. First basemen are generally speaking going to be bat first. You want somebody who can hit over somebody who can play defense, because it's actually probably harder to find somebody who plays a fantastic first base than it is to find somebody who hits and can't play first base. So in the case of first base, you're cool with taking a guy who's a 50 as long as his batting stats are good. And right now, Paul Goldschmidt isn't a really good example because his bat is kind of declining. He's still slugging over 400, and his OPS is still over 700. But that's kind of the minimum expectation, is that your OPS is going to be above 700. If you're first baseman, you kind of want somebody whose OPS plus is like 110 plus, because they're playing a not demanding defensive position, and again, relatively speaking. All right, so that's first base. First base, you want some sort of power hitter, somebody who is a bat first kind of guy, takes walks, makes contact, hits bombs, or whatever. And if they play good defensive first base, that's just a plus. Second base is more of a glove first position, and what I mean by that is you want somebody who plays really good defense, someone who can play, take away hits, make plays to their left and their right. It's probably fast, a little bit shorter. You can already see Tommy Edmonds 5'10", which is taller than the average male. Weighs 175 pounds. This dude is probably pretty damn fit. He's a 60 second base. He's a 50 third base. He's a 35 shortstop. But I have a feeling that has mostly to do with the fact that he doesn't have a ton of reps at shortstop. With these settings, these defensive ratings, he would be an okay, probably a 45 max, maybe 50. His arm isn't great, but for a second baseman, you don't need a great arm. His error is 50, which kind of works against him. So what that means is when the ball is hit to him, he's going to make the routine plays. He's probably going to make half of the hard plays, and he's not going to be able to get to balls, or the balls that he's going to have to dive for. Maybe he makes the play, but more likely he doesn't. He's good at turning the double play. He's got an okay arm, but putting him on the left side of the bag, third base or shortstop, isn't going to do anybody any favors. That being said, his defense at third base is okay. It's 50. It's better than shortstop. For shortstop, your big ratings are going to be your range and your error, and the same is kind of true for your second base. He's got good range and his error is good. His arm is 55. That's not something that generally increases or decreases much once you've made it to the majors. It can decrease as you get older, but very rarely is it going to increase while you're younger. And then turn DP, turn double plays. So second base, anyway, second base is more of you want somebody who plays good defense, and Tommy Edman plays good defense, and the fact that he has a 65 contact rating and pretty good gap power and an okay eye discipline is just icing on top of the cake. And we can see that his OPS plus is 114 in 2021, and it was 165 in 2022. Granted, that was over a small sample size. Let's take a look at a good hitting second baseman who's can actually just look by statistics and sort by. Let's look by second base. See the best hitting second baseman. Let's look at OPS. OPS, Ozzie Albies, perfect. Ozzie Albies plays a pretty good second base. His range is 50. His error is 65. And his arm is a 50. That 50 arm is more than adequate for a second baseman. He's at a 55 because his error is good, but his range isn't great. 5'8", kind of short for a major league player, pretty short for a major league player, and 170. But his contact and his home run power are really good. This dude has, look at his OPSs ever since he broke into the league in 2017. Never less than 100. I mean, 145, 132, 150, 58. Those are really, really good. So this dude is more of a bat first second baseman than a glove first second baseman. But that's okay because he plays more than serviceable second base. Because remember, 50 is the average. 50 is what an average second baseman is. And he's a 55. So he plays more than adequate second base. And the fact that he plays good defense at a premium defensive position, and then you add the fact that he's a really good offensive player, and that is why he's a 5-star and he's putting up ridiculous amounts of WAR, 8 WAR, 7.3 WAR, 4.5, 3.3. Yeah, okay. So that's second base. Now let's go to shortstop, because shortstop is kind of a hybrid now these days. Some of the best overall athletes in the game are shortstops. Let's look at combined and OPS. So Gleyber Torres. Let's take a look at old Gleyber. So we see that Gleyber's rating at shortstop is 45. He really should move to second base. His range is good at 55, and his error is good at 55. And his arm is fantastic at 70, and he's a really, really good turn double play kind of dude. Gleyber Torres is a candidate to move to either second base or probably more likely, I think, third base. Mostly because his arm rating is kind of excessive for a second baseman. His range is kind of poor. For a shortstop, you want something like a 60 range because he's got to cover a lot of ground to his left, and he's also got to be able to cover a lot of ground to his right, because third basemen are kind of like first baseman, except more athletic. Slightly more athletic, but they're still not as able to cover as much ground. A third baseman, I should clarify, is not able to cover as much ground as a second baseman or a shortstop. A third baseman is more athletic than a first baseman, but not as athletic as a shortstop or a second baseman. So we come up here and we see that these infield range, infield range and error. Let's actually look at his ratings, just overall ratings. Let's take a look. Actually, doesn't look like he'd be too terrible in left field either. But anyway, moot point, or not moot, but irrelevant. Range for a shortstop needs to be better. 55 is good. His error is good, but those are like marginally better than average. And two things that are marginally better than average at probably the most important defensive position, which is shortstop, because most hitters are pull hitters. Most hitters are right-handed, and most right-handed hitters are pull hitters. So most ground balls are going to go to the left side of the bat, or to the left side of the infield, and that's where your shortstop is. They're also at your third base. They also hit them to your third baseman. But again, third basemen don't usually have as much range. They have good arms, but they don't have as much range. So Gleyber Torres is a 45 overall shortstop. Let's actually take a look. His fielding percentage wasn't terrible, but his zone rating was negative 9.8, which is actually pretty bad. That's pretty terrible. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so Gleyber Torres could be slotted over to third base and probably be a 50-55 at third because he's got good range for a third baseman and his error is good and his arm is fantastic. So he's not wasted at third or at shortstop. He's putting up ridiculous numbers, but he is certainly what we would call a bat first shortstop. His defensive tools are good, but not up to par for what would be considered a fantastic third or shortstop. Let's actually take a look at Andrelton Simmons. Hopefully, he is not declined. Let's see if he's here. Yep, Andrelton Simmons. Let's see what your ratings are. Okay, good. So Andrelton Simmons, despite being 30, look at all these gold gloves. Again, these are the awards you get for being the best defender. So 2013, 2014, 2017. He's won, what, 6 already in this game. And his last one came the year before last. Or this past year, 2023. So Andrelton Simmons, look at he's got 75 range, 65 error, and an 80 arm. This guy could play any position he wanted in the infield and be very good. He's the best defensive shortstop in the game in real life. But again, at the risk of being too redundant, he will make every. Actually, let's illustrate this point by going to fielding stats. His zone rating is plus 19, which is very good. This dude could win platinum gloves. And a platinum glove is actually given out to the best overall defender, regardless of position in each league. So this guy is a candidate for one of those year after year. Anyway, the arm is generationally good. The range is, again, generationally good. This dude is a fantastic defensive shortstop. And we can see that his contact or his batting ratings are just not good at all. He's still an overall 3-star because he's a good defending shortstop, and that is more valuable to you than a guy like Gleyber Torres? Question mark? Is he? So let's actually take a look. So according to the WAR calculations, Andrelton Simmons, who put up a 105 OPS plus in 2021, this is a really good. I'm really glad this is showing. He put up a 105 OPS, what was still worth 7 WAR overall. That is 100% due to the incredible defensive ratings. He's 5% average or better than average with the bat than the average baseball player, than the average major league player. Coupled with elite defense at shortstop means he put up 7 WAR. The following year, he was actually 2% worse offensively than the average baseball player, average major leaguer, and was still put up 6 WAR, which is all-star level good. WAR. This is where, if we go back to Gleyber Torres, let's take a look. So the most WAR Gleyber Torres has ever put up is 7. And that's after having a 162 OPS plus, which means he was 62% better. His OPS was 62% better than the average player. He put up a 636 slugging percentage, and his OPS was 1.014, which is ridiculous. If your OPS has 4 digits attached to it, you are ridiculously good. Interesting to note that is due to the fact that he actually played fewer games. He only played 137 games, but he's still worth 7 WAR. Whereas Andrelton Simmons, put up 7.1 over 156, but still, I think it still illustrates the point because he plays such elite defense that his WAR is the same or better than a guy who hits much better. I mean, Gleyber Torres and Andrelton Simmons you can't even have a conversation about how good one is offensively without talking about how good the other one is defensively, which is actually interesting that career-wise, Simmons' OPS is 94, but he's still good for 30 WAR. So, yeah, that's just kind of goes to show you how ridiculous, how ridiculous WAR can be with in regards to defense. And I think they're still trying to work out exactly what some good stats are or would be for evaluating people's defense. So anyway, that's shortstop. Now let's go to third base. And actually, let's go back to those stats. Okay, third base is kind of a mashup between first base and other infield positions. Your third baseman should be somebody who is generally bat first. Generally speaking, bat first, but probably more balanced than any of the other positions between offense and defense. You can have fantastic defenders. Let's take a look. Nolan Arenado is probably one of the best overall third basemen when you talk about defense and offense. He's a guy who is absolutely able to mash the baseball from the offensive standpoint and also plays elite defense. So he's set 75 for third base, and you can see that his range is good, his error is good, his arm is good. If his turn double plays was just a little bit better, 55 or 60, Arenado could play shortstop, and he'd be really good at it too. He just doesn't have a fantastic. He's not good at flipping the ball, according to this game. But that's almost. It doesn't matter. So we can actually see that Nolan Arenado has really good offensive stats, 55 or ratings, 55 contact, 60 power, 65 home run power, and then everything else is good too. So I don't want to harp on it too much, but he's hurt a little bit by the fact that he plays in Colorado, which kind of artificially inflates people's offensive numbers. And as an effect, these OPSs kind of they're a little higher than they could be if he played somewhere like, I don't know, San Francisco or St. Louis, somewhere with a bigger park that also wasn't a mile high. Less resistance, less air resistance means the baseball just flies in Colorado. But I'm not trying to take anything away from his offensive abilities. He's still a fantastic offensive player, and he rakes away from Colorado. Let's see split. Can't see that. Let's see. Can we see away stats? Expanded batting stats. Regular season. We should be able to see. Can we not? Batting splits. This is it. Okay, here we go. Let's look at home and away. Right? We should be able to do that really easy. Home versus road. Let's just look at road. Okay, so a regular season, 80 games away from home, and his OPS was 766 overall. If we look at home, his OPS was 103. So obvious difference between his home and road splits. Anyway, I don't want to get bogged down too much again. Anyway, that's your third baseman. Your third baseman should be a combination of good defense and good bat. If you had to favor one over the other, most people would favor a bat first third baseman. Now we can get to the outfield. I'm going to save catchers and pitchers for last because they're kind of an interesting thing to tackle. Okay, so left fielders. Left fielder is, again, if you had to favor offense over defense, most people would take an offensively capable left fielder. But again, the standard for good defense in left field is a little bit lower than it is in right and center because you don't have to cover quite as much ground to be considered a really good left fielder. Alex Gordon is a player who, one of the few modern day players I can think of who is more of a bat first or a glove first left fielder. Alex Gordon certainly wasn't a bad player. Offensively, his career OPS plus was 104. But he won a ton of Gold Gloves based on his defense. Based on his defense out there in left field. We can't really look at his stuff anymore because he's 39 and he retired in 2020. But back in the day, he probably, in earlier iterations of this game, like 2018, 2019, 2020, I remember him distinctly having like 65, 70, 75 ratings out in left field. You can play good left field, but the standard for playing left field is lower than it would be for like center field or right field. Left fielders don't need terribly good arms, but it's nice to have one, I guess. Left fielders are where you really want to stick somebody who's a little bit too athletic to play first base, or someone you don't want to spend time teaching how to scoop balls. So somebody a little bit more athletic than a first baseman. Not quite athletic enough to play third base, you stick them out in left field. Then you got your center fielder. So center field is unique because center field is one of those positions where people are starting to take defensive center fielders again who don't necessarily contribute league average offense. So for the Red Sox, I'm pretty intimately familiar with Jackie Bradley Jr., who has been not a terrible offensive player, very streaky, but he generally ends the year with a less than 100. His OPS plus is usually less than 100. In this game, we take a look at a dude like Cody Bellinger, who's just ridiculous offensive stats across the board, but then he also plays 60 center field. So he's got good range, good air, and having a good arm in center field really does help you. Used to be a time where you could have a guy with the noodle arm out in center field, but as long as he covered a ton of ground, it didn't matter. He could make the catch. And as long as he could, make the strong throw to the cutoff man, strong, accurate throw to the cutoff man, you didn't really need you didn't need a cannon from center field. But those were like the days of Coco Crisp and Johnny Damon. Yeah, but now a lot of center fielders have cannons for arms. So we see Cody Bellinger put up retarded numbers at offensively. His OPS plus is what, 1.03, never south of 1, 1,000, 174, 206, 186, 197, 184. He puts up ridiculous numbers and also plays very good center field defense. He'd be better in right field, but you can kind of inflate his WAR numbers a little bit by putting him in center. Cool. Which brings us to right fielders. Just for shits and giggles, though, let's also take a look at Mike Trout. Mike Trout was worth 4 WAR. Oh, he only played half the season. Never mind. So let's not look at him yet. Then you got your right fielder. Your right fielder is less athletic than your center fielder, probably a little bit more athletic than your left fielder. But your right fielder has to have a cannon. That's like non-negotiable. You can actually stick a less athletic person, and we actually just saw this in the past game against the Indians when they had Franmil Reyes. Let's actually take a look at Franmil Reyes just because. Franmil Reyes played right field. He is not great. His outfield range is only 40. His error is 45. But those two combine. But those two are almost don't really knock against him because his outfield arm is 65. In this game, your arm needs to be a 65 really to have any sort of good chance of being a useful right fielder. You see this range isn't great. Your range needs to be about 50 for a left fielder. Your error can be about 50 for a left fielder, but your arm can also be way lower. If your range is 50 and your error is 50 for a left fielder, that arm can be 50 and you can be like a 55 left fielder. In this game, you see in this instance, you see Franmil Reyes with a 45 overall rating in right field. Not great. His range stinks. 40 is not good. Any other defensive position, this would be a huge knock against him. And the fact that that's coupled with a 45 error, which means that even if he does get under the ball, he's not got a fantastic chance of making the play on it, that counts against him. But it's saved by the fact that he's got a 65 arm. And that arm isn't just power. That arm is also accurate. This game just kind of says your arm is his arm isn't just, I don't know, I'm trying not to be redundant, but this isn't just an overall rating for your arm. It's a combination of both your power and your accuracy. And we saw that when he threw out Daz Cameron, was it? Or Xavier Edwards? I think it was Xavier Edwards. When he threw out Xavier Edwards at home. And Xavier Edwards was a very fast runner, also a great base stealer, but Franmil Reyes nailed him at the plate because of his because he had a good, strong, accurate arm. So that's your outfield. Again, right field is a position where you're more bat first. And Reyes kind of showcases that a little bit by the fact that he's, his OPS plus is 117 here. The problem is, of course, that you still want to have, at least an average right fielder. If he'd have been at least an average right fielder back here in 2022, he'd probably be a 2.0 plus player. Yeah. But he's not quite 2.0 because his defense is just terrible. Our right fielder, let's take a look at our guy, Austin Hayes. Let's see what makes him so good. See, 55 range and 55 air means that he would play okay center field if he had some reps. I think we actually did at one point. I think we can get him up to 45 with enough reps. But his arm is fantastic. It's a 65 arm, coupled with the 55 range and a 55 air, makes this dude a 60 overall right fielder. And if we went to Drew Waters, where yeah, Drew, here we go, would be a good right fielder. He would be a fantastic right fielder, given enough reps. Set position to right field, and it's going to kick up to 3.5 stars because he's just such a good. He's got the range. He's got more than adequate range, more than adequate air, and more than adequate arm. If his range was 60, that center field would also probably be about 50 or 55. Cool. All right. So right fielder is bat first. Center field is more towards defense if someone was going to make you choose. But today's day and age, no one's going to really make you choose anymore because there's such athletic guys. Then you got your catcher. Your catcher is 100% defense first. If Adley Rutschman had worse, like half the ratings he has, he'd still be worth it just because of his defense. He's a 70 overall catcher. 65 ability, 65 arm, 70 overall catcher, and then you just add the incredible offense on top of that, and this dude, that's what makes him so worth. His WAR so high, is so good. This dude's a 3-time All-Star already. He's going to be in the competition, an MVP finalist. Yeah, so catchers also work with your pitchers extensively. I don't know if that's really reflected in this game all that much. Personality, though, your catcher needs to be somebody like a captain. Rutschman is not a captain, which is kind of unfortunate. But here, let's take a look at this Ali Sanchez guy, because Ali Sanchez is actually a better catcher than Adley Rutschman. And the great thing about it is if Adley Rutschman went down, I can't. Oh yeah, we got this dude out as a Rule 5 pick. This dude's developed pretty well. This guy would be a fantastic starting catcher on any other team, too. So we're actually really lucky that this dude is on our team. He's got good contact ratings. He's got good eye discipline, and he avoids Ks. And I think if we gave him a full season's worth of playing time, I think he'd be more than adequate, especially given that fantastic catching rating. Plus, he's a catcher. I like this guy. I like this guy a lot, actually. It kind of stinks that we can't play him more often because his ratings are good. They haven't really reflected all that well in game, but again, that's small sample sizes. I mean, we're talking about what, 140 at bats. So anyway, and then your pitchers, of course. Your pitchers just need to worry about pitching. That's it. So hopefully that's given you a pretty good insight as to at least what I think. What I think it's all about. If not, feel free to disagree with me. Tell me why I'm wrong. I do like those kinds of sorts of discussions. And I'm not trying to present myself as somebody who knows everything about baseball. I've been into this game for a long time. I've been super into baseball since I was 10 years old. And when I jumped into baseball, I really did jump into it. I mean, I started buying all the books that I could, reading about. All the old guys. Hans Wagner, Ty Cobb, Christy Mathewson. All the way up, through Babe Ruth and Black Sox scandal, all that stuff. I love it. I live and breathe baseball. It's an incredible sport, rich history, and but as well read as I am in baseball, I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. There's people who are way older than I am. I'm still relatively young, who know more about baseball and probably have a totally different perspective of it than I do. What I'm saying are my opinions, what I think about the sport, the kind of valuations that I put on players. And again, please just keep in mind that I'm not a baseball player. I am a fan. I like baseball a lot. I like to think that I'm more than just a casual fan, but I welcome any sort of corrections that you think you might have. If you could open my eyes, I think I'd be more than receptive to listening to your opinions, especially when it comes to these like advanced sabermetrics, sabermetrics. It's not that I don't want to embrace them. I do want to embrace them, and I would really like to understand more and more about them. like the FIP thing. I'm glad that I was able to educate myself and learn a little bit more about that formula because it did, the way that I had read it didn't quite make sense to me. But I think I've rambled on long enough. This video is going to be super long, so I apologize for the length of these. Hopefully you don't mind. I actually like long videos, but I know not everybody does. So if you stuck around long and this long, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. And again, if you have any sort of comments or observations, I'd love to hear about them. Put them in the comments. I'll try and respond. I almost certainly will. But yeah, thanks. Thanks for watching. And on to the World Series. I'm pretty stoked. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.